swing and a fly ball hit to deep right center field. Fly away! The old-time religion lives! Junior does it!
Ken Griffey Jr. is unbelievable.
Inspiration to many kids and baseball players.
One of the best players in this game.
Down the line! That is your game winner! Ken Griffey Jr. gets it done!
Ken Griffey Jr. is an icon. I mean, he's somebody that every young kid grew up watching, and, you know, everybody just wanted to be Ken Griffey Jr. Everybody wanted to imitate his swing. I mean, he is absolutely the epitome of what it is to be a baseball player, and, you know, unbelievable.
Ken Griffey Jr. is the kid I always wanted to be.
Ken Griffey Jr. is the greatest Seattle Mariner of all time.
Magic is back at least for a night!
Junior hits it.
The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship. I don't believe it.
Without a doubt, the man who built Safeco Field.
The pitch to the waistline, fly ball deep in the left field, way back. Holy cow, the kid is done.
Ken Griffey Jr. Hall of Fame is presented by the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. Cooperstown, New York sits about 4 hours northwest of New York City and 90 minutes due west of Albany. It's home to just over 1,800 residents, but accommodates nearly 300,000 visitors a year who want to relive history, pay homage to their baseball heroes, and encounter the greatest players to ever play the game. And this year, several thousand of them are paying tribute to Ken Griffey Jr., a longtime icon and Northwest hero, taking his rightful place among baseball's all-time greats. I'm happy to be here with you this weekend along with Brad Adam.
Yes, Jen, I'm standing outside the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. It seems like we've been waiting a long time for this moment, and we can't wait to bring you the excitement of Hall of Fame weekend over the next 30 minutes.
The Hall of Fame was founded in 1939. It ended up here in Cooperstown because this is where Civil War hero Abner Doubleday was said to have invented baseball.
We know now that's not the case, but it's part of baseball lore. The first 5 men were elected to the Hall in 1936. This year, Mike Piazza and Ken Griffey Jr. bring the total of Major League players enshrined to 217.
And with the ceremony taking place July 24th, it almost feels like a tip of the cap by the baseball gods to the man who wore that number for more than 2 decades. Every Hall of Famer lays claim to a reputation of being one of the best in the game. But Ken Griffey Jr.'s legacy shines a little brighter than the rest. Griffey is the first #1 overall pick in MLB history to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. And he does so after receiving the highest percentage of Hall of Fame votes in baseball history, 99.3%, with all but 3 voters casting a yes vote. Griffey's 22-year career produced 13 All-Star appearances, 10 Gold Gloves, and 7 Silver Slugger Awards. He launched home runs like it was batting practice, belting 630 of them, good for 6th most on baseball's all-time list. While his Hall of Fame vote wasn't unanimous, his 1997 American League MVP honors were. It capped one of the most productive seasons of his career and gave him the distinction of being just the 13th player to earn the award unanimously. 2 years later, the kid became the youngest member of MLB's All-Century team at 29 years old. His natural talent and ability kept him out of the steroid conversations and helped him become one of 29 players in history to play in at least 4 decades. His popularity reached unprecedented heights. Griffey is the all-time leading vote getter in All-Star balloting history, receiving a career total of 50,045,065 votes. It seems that everyone has in memory a recollection of the kid, but fans in the Northwest helped write the story. They are the ones who recognized Griffey's talent as a rookie in 1989, expressed their gratitude for his role in keeping baseball in Seattle, welcomed him back to the Emerald City in 2009, and celebrate his induction into the Hall of Fame, knowing how fitting it is that he be the first player to enter the Hall wearing a Mariners cap.
I grew up where my dad always said, if you work hard, you do things right, and you're going to get rewarded. You know, he said the hardest thing about playing minor league ball is getting drafted, because there's not a lot of people who get drafted. But once you have your foot in the door, anything goes. You're only a first-round, pick 1 year. There's more second, third, fourth, fifths, and so on in the big leagues than there are first-round picks. So for me, and I'm probably speaking, it's you work day in and day out. You don't take no for an answer. You go out there and do your job, and you try to be the best player that you can be day in and day out. Having a dad who played, I got a chance to be in the locker room and see most of these guys. But the two that, have always, well, three who have always been there for me, Dave Winfield, Eddie Murray, and Ricky Henderson. I mean, these guys, when I got to the big leagues, they were like, hey, you're going to ride with me, you're going to do this, we're going to talk about baseball, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about that. And, they've been real supportive. And, the one thing they always tell me, what took you so damn long to get here? And I'm like, I apologize, I'll work on it next time or something. But, they've always, like I said, they've always been there. And, they came up yesterday, and I walked into dinner, and they all gave me a hug and patted me on the back and said, hey, welcome.
Coming up, a closer look at the mechanics behind Junior's sweet swing, one that produced so many highlights throughout his career. But the play that saved baseball in Seattle was a result of his speed.
The 0-1 pitch on the way to Edgar Martinez. Swung on the line down the left field line for a base hit. Here comes Joy. Here is Junior to third base. They're going to wave him in. The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship. I don't believe it.
He was so excited about winning, mainly. Happiness, excitement about going to a playoff. Junior wanted to play the game, and he enjoyed playing in big stages, like he proved for many years. So I think he was very excited about getting the chance to play in the playoff.
It just continues. My, oh my! And they are going crazy at the Kingdom.
Ken Griffey Jr. Hall of Fame is presented by the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
The one-word description for Griffey's swing is sexy. It's the sweetest, smoothest, effortless swing. When you watch him take BP and you watch him hit in a game, there is no difference. It's like he's dancing at the plate. He's got a nice waltz going, everything is rhythmic. He's got quick hands, good bat path, good extension, good finish. Just a beautiful swing, and I've been knowing Griff and his whole family ever since he was a kid, and there's no one in this game that I'm more proud of to what he's become than Ken Griffey Jr. Down the line, that is your game winner!
Junior became a Hall of Famer due in part to the numbers produced by that swing. You can call it sexy, you can call it sweet, and you call it perfect. Many different ways to describe Junior's swing. All of them would be correct. His former teammate Mike Blowers breaks down the mechanics of that iconic swing for us.
I had the great opportunity to watch Ken Griffey Jr. through a number of years and watch him swing the bat, and what a natural swing it was, but there was a lot more that goes into it than just that. I think the first thing with Ken Griffey Jr. is just how comfortable and athletic he looks in a batter's box. And nobody looked more comfortable in the box than Ken Griffey Jr. And I think the other thing is you have to be able to keep your head still when you're in the middle of your swing, and you have to keep your eyes on it, and you're going to get a lot of extension, and there's a load involved in it. So there's so many different things, but we'll start with the head and the eyes of Ken Griffey Jr. He is somebody that, for such a powerful swing, a graceful swing, his head is always in the hitting area. They're always taught to see the ball come off of the bat. I don't think anybody did it better than Ken Griffey Jr. as you take a look at that swing and how he was right on top of it. And then the next thing that you're going to go through after you get to the head and eyes is his hips. And this is where he generates a ton of power. With Ken Griffey, he's going to load up, a nice easy load, a simple stride, and then you'll see him throw his hips right there. Belt buckle out towards the pitcher, really loading up on his hips, and that's where all of his timing is going to come from, and a tremendous amount of power. And then you have the load right here. You can see him, and you'll see him straighten out that right leg to create a ton of leverage as he takes this swing. And look at that line right there, everything right down the line. You see his right arm almost extended, but the big key is his left elbow tucked in up against his ribs. There's a tremendous amount of power and leverage in that swing. And of course, the beautiful arc. And the one thing that you cannot teach with Ken Griffey Jr. is the amount of bat speed. Throughout every year that we played, Ken had some of the best bat speed you're ever going to see, but a lot of it is an athletic, balanced, rhythmic swing that he was able to create more than anybody else I'd ever seen, and that's the reason why he's going into the Hall of Fame as a first ballot player.
That swing produced a career of highlights and milestone moments that are now commemorated in the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Up next, we go inside and see which items were selected to represent the kid's 22-year professional career. His baseball talent goes back much further and included a stop at Moeller High School in Cincinnati, Ohio, where his talent was evident as a teenager.
He had a lot of interest. Even in December, scouts were calling me just to see if he was still physically able to play. Was he in good shape? And then as we got closer to the high school season, I said, Kenny, there's one thing I haven't asked you. I said, are you interested in going to college? And he looked at me and he said, Coach, he said, no. He says, I was born to play baseball. And, I looked at him and I thought, he's smarter than any one of us. He knows where he's been gifted, and that's what he was going to do.
He was a fun-loving kid. He really was. And I didn't see him a lot early in his career because he played in the American League, and I was basically a National League umpire for my first 22 years. But the funny thing is, when he got traded over to the National League, he would always run by and say, throw me out of the game, throw me out of the game. And I used to say, I'm not throwing you out of the game. If I got to stay here, you got to too. I don't ever remember him arguing too much with an umpire. I can't recall a time. Good hitters don't argue with umpires because they hit the pitch when it's close. They hit the pitch that's over the plate. So good ball players very seldom argue.
Junior lines it down the left field line into the corner. That's going to get over the wall, fly away. Line drive, home run, and that's his 16th. Somewhat akin to his first home run ever here.
It seems that everyone around baseball, even the umpires, has a story about Ken Griffey Jr. The kid participated in the Hall of Fame Legends Parade Saturday night. Fans packed Main Street for a glimpse of the inductees, many of them camping out all day to reserve their spot for the yearly tradition. Fans flocked to Cooperstown to be part of the excitement of Induction Sunday and soak up the history at the Baseball Hall of Fame, which now includes an exhibit on Ken Griffey Jr. So how do you sum up a 22-year career in one display case? Turns out you don't.
What I try to do is really to ignite the passion that Ken Griffey brought to the field, and ignite that passion in the view of the fans. So what you see in an exhibit are just a few highlights that, rather than be encyclopedic, we try to just hit the very highlights and remind people what it was that Ken Griffey, who he was, and what he brought to the field.
The process starts during a player's career and begins in earnest after the Hall of Fame announcement in January.
These items ended up in the case because I got a chance to go down to Orlando and visit with Ken, meet with him and his family, see his collection. When I talked with him on the phone, I explained, here's what the items that the Hall of Fame had, but we were looking for a few more, and he said, why don't you just come down and take a look and see? He had a very extensive collection, much larger than most, and he said, basically, I can't select from that. I know what a professional is. You're a professional at that. Come down and take a look at it. And so I came down and I was blown away, quite frankly, by the quality and quantity of Ken's own personal collection.
The statistics Griffey piled up speak for themselves. Curator John Odell wanted to make sure he chose items that conveyed Griffey's personality, love of the game, and impact in Seattle. The Silver Glove, for example, is from the Mariners' turn-ahead-the-clock game in 1998 against the Kansas City Royals.
The thing that Ken brought to it was he spray-painted guys' shoes silver and spray-painted his own glove silver and decreed that everybody had to wear their cap backwards and just took this offbeat PR piece to a whole new level, which talked to me about the fun that Ken brought to the ball game.
He also extended a legacy and made history playing alongside his father, Ken Griffey Sr., the only father-son duo to play on the same team at the same time.
One of the things that Ken brought out to me was a baseball bat, and I wanted very much, when he explained the story of this bat, to put that in here, because the story of Ken is also the story of his dad. Together with that is his card. So the bat is the bat that, combined with Ken Griffey Sr.'s home runs and Ken Griffey Jr.'s home runs, is 500 home runs.
That's a benchmark for, the Hall of Fame is 500 home runs. And he understood the magnitude of history, being 38, 39, 40, and I'm 19, 20. I just want to survive and play baseball, and he's over there understanding what's going on and where, not only, he fits, but where I fit.
A single image will mark his Hall of Fame career in Cooperstown. Still to come, a look at the plaque and his decision to honor tradition. Plus, Griffey on the podium. That's all coming up on Ken Griffey Jr. Hall of Fame, presented by the Emerald Queen Casino.
Ken Griffey on the run at the wall. He leaps and makes a spectacular catch.
You talk about somebody that was never into the steroid discussion. He's definitely did it the right way. Griffey was the kid of baseball. He had a lot of fun. His hat was backwards. Every kid wants to be like Ken Griffey Jr., the sweetest swing in baseball. A guy has over 600 home runs, and I thought he was a lot of fun, and he was one of my favorites and still a friend to this day. So yeah, Ken Griffey Jr., well deserved.
Ken Griffey Jr.'s Hall of Fame plaque had become an interesting conversation among fans leading up to its unveiling during the induction ceremony. Many of them wondered if he would be the only Hall of Famer pictured with his hat backwards, an image forever linked to the kid. But for Junior, it came down to tradition, respecting the game and honoring the team he represents.
Everybody's hat's on forward to show the logo of the team, unless you play for multiple teams and you can't make your mind up. For me, it was going to be forward, and maybe I get a dummy one for the house with my hat backwards.
The signature backwards hat won't be immortalized in the Hall of Fame, but an estimated crowd of 50,000 watched Junior cap his induction speech as only the kid could.
Seattle, Washington has been a big part of my life. There are so many things, great things that I could talk about, but we'd be here all day. But I'm going to leave you with one thing. Out of my 22 years, I learned that only one team will treat you the best, and that's your first team. I'm damn proud to be a Seattle Mariners. The two misconceptions of me are I didn't work hard and everything I made look easy. Just because I made it look easy doesn't mean that it was. and you don't work hard and become a Hall of Famer by not working day in and day out. I want to thank my family, my friends, the fans, the Reds, the White Sox, and the Mariners for making this kid's dream come true. Thank you.
And with that, it's official. Junior's journey to the Hall of Fame is now complete.
And so is our time in Cooperstown. We hope you've enjoyed this look at a very special weekend. Thanks for watching.
Swing and a fly ball into deep right center field. Fly away! The old-time